All right, it's another episode of Today in Art. Today is February 8th, 2020. This article is actually from the 31st of January. It's a little late, but I just came across it, so we'll get into it. If you're on YouTube, I'm trying to gain more subscribers. I'm around the 224-ish mark, so if you want to subscribe, that would be great. If you're listening on any of the podcasting platforms, if you want to subscribe to that or donate to me via Anchor, which is the main podcasting platform it's getting pushed out from, that would be awesome as well. I'm trying to do at least one of these a week, and I've been fairly successful the last couple of weeks, and I may do like a second one if another story pops up that I find interesting throughout the week. So let's get into it. This is from the Art newspaper, which I've never heard of the Art newspaper before, but it's something I came across. It says San Francisco artist sues Disney for copying her tremendously cool, in quotations, painted van in a Pixar film. Sweet Cecily Deniher rented her unicorn-decorated vehicle to the studio for a party, only to find out its doppelganger will appear in the animated movie Onward. I have not seen Onward, but I've seen like the trailer for it. On the left here, we have the artist Sweet Cecily Deniher with her vanicorn in a 2014 Instagram post. And on the right is a promotional images from the Pixar film Onward. The Bay Area tattoo artist Sweet Cecily Deniher is suing Pixar, Disney, and Corey Ray, the producer of the forthcoming animated film Onward, for reproducing her unicorn-painted van without permission. In a colorfully worded legal complaint, Deniher's lawyers lay out exactly how the superlative work of automotive art was allegedly copied by the studio. Since 2014, according to court documents, Deniher has owned a tremendously cool dark blue and/or purple 1972 Chevrolet G10 van with red shag carpeting, red velour walls and seating, and a white shag carpet roof. Soon after buying the van, she painted a fantastical mural of a unicorn on the side of it because of her lifelong artistic interest in unicorns, but also because of her ex-husband had theretofore refused to allow her to do so. Why do they have to add the ex-husband thing in there for? The artist's design for the vans were done with tremendous specificity regarding the colors utilized and the shading therefore, the flowing locks of hair from the unicorn, the flashes of lightning, and a general outer space and mythological visual melee. The complaint notes, at the risk of belaboring the point, the plaintiff has had a real thing for unicorns for a very long time, and they have been a central theme and subject matter of her artistic work throughout the entirety of her career. So this is like all kind of, it's very like, when you're doing something and you're making, or you're suing and you're making a complaint, like all this is kind of like, it's not legal wording, but it's very legal speak. They're trying to like build a case that, because if someone takes something that's very stylistically yours and copies it, there may be a case, and they're trying to say that the use of unicorns itself is very stylistically her, but I don't know if a person can claim unicorns as compared to a style. So, and thus complainant says Deniher brought forth unto the world, or at the very least the streets of San Francisco, a mobile mural and or a superlative work of automotive art, with her very particular mural applied thereon, born of her own creation and design, in which she thereafter christened the Vanicorn. So we're getting into more, it's getting like more and more like specifically hers. Then in September 2018, according to the complaint, Jan Clausen, a representative of Pixar, reached out to Deniher via email asking to rent your amazing Vanicorn for use in a one-day music festival / activity day for Pixar employees and family. A copy of the email exchange included as an exhibit in the case notes that the van would serve as a showpiece and not be used in any other way than a visual prop. So then again, it's like, because copyright, from what I've seen and what I've read, like, I mean, any legal thing like this too, any kind of creative legal, you're like trying to like build a case to either win or not lose. After assurances that the vintage vehicle would be well cared for, Danier agreed to lease the van to Pixar for an unspecified fee, and a good time was had by all at the event. The complaint continues. The positive vibes came to a screeching halt in May 2019, however, when Danier discovered the forthcoming Pixar film Onward featured a character named Genevieve, which was a tremendously cool dark blue and / or purple 1972 Chevrolet G10 van with a red interior and a big mural of a unicorn on its side. So if you're like looking here, you're like, oh, they're kind of a van. One's a Pegasus and one's a unicorn. You're like, maybe not. But when you get into like, she actually rented it, and hers was a 1972 Chevrolet G10 van, and theirs happened to be a 1972 Chevrolet G10 van, also red interior, also kind of a horse on the side. You're like starting to build, like, yeah, this is kind of building that it may be possible. And a departure from Danier's Vanacorn, the design on the animated van seen on the promotional materials for the film appears to depict a Pegasus, a mythical winged horse rather than a unicorn, and a moon-shaped side window. So they're talking about that on the back. I can't really see here. No, okay. It looks like just like a regular kind of like square rectangular window on hers. On 3rd June 2019, the court documents claim Danier received a call from the film's producer, Corey Ray. According to the complaint, Ray apologized to the plaintiff for the theft of the Vanacorn for its use as the Genevieve character, and allegedly admitted to the plaintiff that the defendants intentionally did not inform her of their intentions when renting the van, because at the time the animated film did not have a title, and the studio believed they could not have Danier sign a non-disclosure agreement without one. Pixar then went on to create merchandise and toys featuring the van, including a full-scale replica that appeared at Disney's D23 Expo in 2019. I don't know, it says that it's in a call. I don't know if it's recorded. I don't know if there's like any letters. But if you're having the film's producer apologize, I mean, it kind of sounds like this is like hearsay instead of actual. There's like any like physical or electronic evidence of it. That would almost win her a case for a pretty sizable amount. Because if you remember the Nike, I think the woman that created the Nike symbol later sued and won, and she like won like a massive amount of money for it. And it goes on, there's like it links to a guy's blog. It's called Dan the Pixar Fan. And I guess he went to the event where they had the full replica van there. That was supposed to be what it is from the film. So that's interesting as well. Danier's lawyers, Connor Cochran, who helped register her Vanacorn with the U.S. Copyright Office in December 2019. That's funny that they registered a van under copyright. Because when you make a piece of art or something, or you take a photograph, when it's created, it in itself is copyrighted, but you can go further and actually get it copyrighted under or known through the U.S. government if you want to. Because I know some like high-end photographer, like a lot of photographers will take their picture, they'll edit it, and they'll put it up on Instagram or their website or whatever. But there's some photographers who are like really high-end. They'll go through and they'll get all their photos and everything edited, and they'll submit those through U.S. copyright before they ever post them to a website or Instagram or social media or anything, just to like make sure like they're covered. Because if you're dealing with someone stealing like a photo Well, it's hard if you're screenshot on the phone. I don't know, but I know if you go in and like wipe out the metadata, then that can be used as like that was intentionally theft. But that's kind of off the point. Danny here's lawyer Cochran, who helped register the Vanacorn with the U.S. Copyright Office in December 2019, says at no time was the artist offered the option to sign over her rights to the Vanacorn's design, and that Pixar's animated vehicular doppelganger is the most egregious example of copyright infringement he has ever seen. I don't know about that. I mean, Richard Prince does some pretty incredible copyright infringement type stuff. The artist is seeking an unspecified amount of damages, but Cochran, Cochran says that when the film comes out, I'll be in the theater counting how much time the van is on the screen to figure out the percentage of box office profits Denier is entitled to. As of this publication, Pixar has not responded to the art newspaper's request for comment. Onward, which features the voices of actors Tom Holland and Chris Pratt as two elf brothers on a quest to resurrect their dead father, is due to open in theaters March 6th. So, given that all this is correct, just from what I can see in the article, it seems to be that it is a pretty good case. I mean, if they just had copied... because originally I was thinking they just copied the horse thing on the side of the van and someone's just trying to sue, because anybody can pretty much sue for anything, but whether it actually goes through or not is another issue. But her renting it, someone saying that they're sorry they couldn't do it, then it's like the same type of van, the same color, it has a horse on the side, whether one's Pegasus and one's unicorn. It's a little bit of a change, but the inside being red and all this other stuff seemed like it's a pretty good case. Because when you're getting inspiration for something, it's usually there needs to be like at least a 25% change, so it doesn't fall under being like derivative work or just a copy of. But I mean, it seems to be saying that everything's correct. It seems to be they'd have a pretty good case. I still think if it went to court, it'd be tons of money in probably a couple years. So there's a good chance that, like, if this is all this is factual, that Pixar would probably settle out of court. I don't know, 10, 20 million, something like that. Because a lot of times they would like settle, not necessarily settling will save them probably time and money. Because you'd usually settle less. Then you go to court, then court just takes years to go through. If anybody knows anybody's gone through court doing certain things, it just takes a long time. But yeah, I mean, I think she has a case given all of this in this article here. But when you just kind of look at it, if you just like kind of read the title, like look at the I got another issue too, is like people just read the title and they'll look at the pictures and they won't actually like read the article, that's starting to get on my nerves a lot lately. But that's another thing. But like I said, this is Today in Art. This is February 8th, 2020. If you're on YouTube, if you like this, you can give me a like. If you really liked it, you can subscribe. You didn't like it, you can down it. You can put a comment why and all this good stuff. And I'm going to be out of here. Then you can follow my different podcasting platforms like Anchor and Spotify and I think Pocket Cast and all these other things. Wherever you listen to podcasts, it should be there by now, hopefully. All right. Peace. Later. Bye.